It gets better by change. They say it takes 21 days to build a habit. But what if I told you that just one focused week, 7 days of consistent effort, could be the turning point you've been waiting for? Most people spend months, it's better by even years. They say it takes 21 days to build the habit. But what if I told you that just one focused week, never keep 7 days of consistent effort could be the turning point? I know what it feels like to want to change so badly, but not know where to start. That was until I got fed up with my own excuses. I didn't overhaul my life overnight. I didn't climb a mountain, win the lottery. I simply chose 5 simple habits, small shifts that I committed to for 1 week. And those 5 habits sparked a transformation that gave me back my time, my energy, and most importantly, my belief in myself. This isn't about being perfect. It's about doing what works. And what works is momentum, small wins, daily discipline, the kind of habits that don't just change your schedule, they change your identity. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're ready to finally take control, this message is for you. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 habits that changed my life in just 1 week. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I show you how to start small, stay consistent, and build a life you're proud of, one habit at a time. Let's dive in. Number 1, start with one habit that matters. Let me be clear. The biggest mistake people make when trying to change their life is trying to change everything at once. It's tempting. You get motivated, feel fired up, and suddenly you want to fix your sleep, your diet, your finances, your goals, your relationships, all in one shot. But here's the truth that no one wants to admit. Real change doesn't come from massive overhauls. It comes from picking one thing and sticking with it until it becomes part of who you are. When I decided I'd had enough of living on autopilot, I didn't try to reinvent my entire life. I picked one habit, just one. I told myself, if I can do this consistently for a week, I'll prove to myself that change is possible. And that decision was the turning point. You don't need 10 habits. You need one habit done 10 times. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Let's take a look at James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. Before he became a best-selling author, he wasn't chasing fame or massive goals. He started by committing to a simple habit, writing 1 page a day, just one. That act of showing up every single day without fail turned him into one of the most respected voices in personal development. Why? Because he understood that small actions, repeated over time, lead to big results. You don't build discipline overnight. You build it daily, one decision at a time. That's the secret most people miss. They think change has to be extreme to be effective, but extreme rarely lasts. What lasts is sustainable. What lasts is something so small, so doable that you can't fail. That's where the magic begins. 1 push-up, 1 page, 1 walk, 1 glass of water. It sounds too easy, but that's the point. The goal is to lower the resistance so your brain can't come up with a reason not to do it. Once you build the streak, 2 days, then 3, then 5, your identity begins to shift. You no longer say, I'm trying to change. You start saying, this is who I am now. Here's how to apply it. Stop making a list of 10 habits. Don't download 5 new apps. Don't write a long to-do list that stresses you out. Pick one habit. Make it small. Make it daily. Make it matter. If you want to read more, commit to 10 pages. If you want to get fit, commit to 5 minutes of movement. If you want better mornings, start by waking up 15 minutes earlier. Don't try to change the world. Just try to win the next 7 days. There's something powerful about honoring your word to yourself. When you say you'll do something and you actually do it, even when no one's watching, you start building self-trust. And when you trust yourself, you no longer need outside motivation. You become the kind of person who shows up. That's where your confidence comes from. Not from being perfect, but from being consistent. So let this be your first move. Choose one habit that aligns with the life you want to build. Commit to doing it every single day for the next 7 days. No excuses. You're not aiming for massive results right now. You're aiming to prove to yourself that you can follow through. And once that habit sticks, you'll have a foundation strong enough to build anything on top of. Because the first real habit you build isn't reading or working out or waking up early. The first real habit you build is showing up for yourself. And once you master that, everything else becomes possible. Number 2, prioritize small, consistent actions. There's a dangerous lie floating around in the world of personal development. The idea that life changes in one big moment, that there's a single breakthrough, a flash of brilliance, a sudden spark that transforms everything. And while those moments do exist, they're incredibly rare. You know what's far more common? Quiet, consistent effort, tiny decisions, small wins. That's the real secret behind lasting transformation. If you're trying to do something great, change your habits, chase your dreams, rebuild your mindset. Don't wait around for a perfect day. Don't wait to feel ready. Most people waste months, even years, waiting for motivation to show up. But motivation is inconsistent. What you really need is discipline. And discipline is built on consistency. It's not about how much you do once in a while. It's about what you do daily, especially when you don't feel like it. Let me give you a real example. Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most successful comedians in the world, didn't build his career by writing genius material in one sitting. He did something incredibly simple. Every day he sat down and wrote jokes. He marked an X on a wall calendar. Each day he did it. Over time, he had a chain of X's. And he had one rule: don't break the chain. That's it. One joke a day, one page a day, one win a day. That's what built his confidence, his skill, and ultimately his legacy. This principle applies to every area of life. Want to get in shape? One workout won't do it, but one workout every day will change your body. Want to grow your business? One phone call might get ignored, but making one call every day builds connections, momentum, and opportunity. Want to be more present with your family? One good conversation every evening creates stronger relationships over time. The key is repetition, not intensity, repetition. You see, the reason small, consistent actions work so well is because they sneak past resistance. They don't trigger fear. They don't overwhelm your brain. They're manageable, which means you're far more likely to do them. And the more you do them, the easier they become. You build rhythm. You build reliability. You become the kind of person who follows through. Most people don't fail because they don't try. They fail because they try to do too much, too soon, and then burn out. They think progress has to be dramatic to be meaningful. But it's the little things, the easy to overlook things, that shape who you are. One day of effort doesn't matter much, but 100 days of effort, that will change everything. Let's get practical. Think of an area of your life you've been struggling to improve. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's your energy. Maybe it's your confidence. Now ask yourself, what's one small thing you can do every day that would push that part of your life in a better direction? Not a huge commitment, not a 5-hour grind session, just one small action. Something that's so simple, you can't talk yourself out of doing it. Then do it every day. Track it. Keep score. Don't skip a day. Make it part of your routine, like brushing your teeth or turning off the lights. And don't let the simplicity fool you. These actions compound, like drops of water wearing down stone. Over time, they create deep change, quiet change, real change. It's also important to celebrate these small wins. Most people ignore them. They focus on what they haven't achieved yet. They beat themselves up over what's still undone. But when you acknowledge your progress, even the little things, you reinforce the behavior. You start to feel momentum. You start to believe in yourself again. And that belief is fuel. Imagine where your life would be 1 month from now if you committed to just one small action every day. Imagine where you'd be in 6 months, a year. It's not about being perfect. It's not about hitting home runs. It's about showing up day in, day out, no matter what. Here's the truth. Small actions done consistently are more powerful than bursts of inspiration. They build habits. They build trust. They build the kind of life you can be proud of. It doesn't matter how slow you're going, as long as you're moving forward. So the next time you're tempted to do it all at once, pause, breathe, and remember Jerry Seinfeld's calendar. 1 X a day, 1 step, 1 win. That's how great things are built. Start now, start small. And whatever you do, don't break the chain. Number 3, limit distractions and protect your focus. Let's be real. Focus is one of the most valuable skills in the world today. And it's also one of the rarest. We live in a time when distractions are everywhere. Your phone buzzes. Notifications pop up. Someone sends a message. You scroll for just a second, and suddenly an hour has vanished. You feel busy, but you haven't moved forward. That's the trap. The illusion of productivity with no real progress. Here's the truth. Most people ignore. If you don't control your focus, the world will control it for you. Every app, every platform, every advertisement, is fighting for your attention. And if you let them win, you lose your time, your energy, your clarity, your life. Distractions might not seem dangerous in the moment, but they quietly steal your potential. Think about how much more you could accomplish if your focus was laser sharp. What if for just 2 hours a day, you had deep, uninterrupted time to work on your goals? How much further would you be in 1 month, 1 year? Focus is the gateway to excellence, and protecting it is a skill you must build deliberately. Let's look at someone who built their success on this very idea. Cal Newport, the author of Deep Work. Newport doesn't use social media. He doesn't chase every trend. Instead, he carved out focused blocks of time every day to do deep, meaningful work, writing, thinking, creating. This practice of working without distraction didn't just help him write best-selling books. It made him a respected voice in productivity, research, and success. He didn't rely on constant motivation. He relied on focus. That's the mindset shift we need. Stop trying to do more. Start doing what matters without distraction. You don't have to give up your phone or disappear from the world, but you do need boundaries. Distractions don't just come from technology. They also come from people, habits, clutter, and mental noise. The real question is, what's pulling your attention away from the life you're trying to build? It might be endless scrolling. It might be responding to everyone else's needs before your own. It might be jumping between tasks all day without completing anything. Whatever it is, it's time to fix it. Start small. Create one window of deep focus each day. It could be 30 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours. During that time, no notifications, no multitasking, no interruptions. Put your phone in another room. Close your inbox. Let people know you're unavailable. This isn't being rude. It's being responsible. You have to treat your attention like your most valuable asset, because it is. Every time you protect it, you take a step closer to your goals. Every time you waste it, you take a step further away. Let's be honest. You don't need more time. You need better focus. Most people have enough time to make progress. They just lose it to things that don't matter. A Netflix binge, an hour on social media, another quick scroll. These things feel relaxing, but they leave you empty. They don't move your life forward. Here's a challenge. Track your time for one day. Just one. Write down how you spend each hour. You'll be shocked at how much time disappears. Once you see it, you can fix it. You can reclaim it. Imagine what you could build with 2 extra focused hours a day. That's 60 hours a month. That's 720 hours a year. That's nearly a full month of work, reclaimed just by limiting distractions. And the best part, you don't need to work harder. You just need to work smarter. Focus doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. So design your environment to support it. Clean your workspace. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Use tools like website blockers or timers to stay on track. And most importantly, train your brain. The more you practice focus, the stronger it becomes. This isn't about perfection. You're going to get distracted sometimes. That's okay. But you need a system to get back on track. A reset button. A habit of pausing and refocusing when your attention drifts. Over time, you'll notice something powerful. You're no longer a slave to your phone. You're no longer reacting to everything around you. You're in control. And when you control your focus, you control your outcomes. So here's your action step. Choose a daily focus block. Start with just 30 minutes. Pick one task that matters. Turn off everything else and go deep. No multitasking, no jumping tabs. Just pure, uninterrupted effort. Do that consistently, and you'll start seeing results faster than you imagined. Because in a world full of noise, focus is your edge. It's your weapon. And if you protect it fiercely, it will take you places distractions never could. Number 4, take care of your health first. Let's talk about something most people don't realize until it's almost too late. Your health is not optional. It's not a side quest on your journey to success. It is the foundation of everything. You can have big dreams, clear goals, powerful habits, but if you don't have the energy to execute, nothing moves forward. When your body is tired, your mind is foggy. When your mind is foggy, your decisions suffer. And when your decisions suffer, your future suffers. It's that simple. People love to say, I don't have time to work out, or I'm too busy to eat healthy. But let's flip that for a second. How much time do you think it will cost you if you get sick? How much momentum will you lose if burnout hits? How many dreams will you postpone? because your body can't keep up with your ambition. Let me give you a real example. Arianna Huffington, at the peak of her career, while building the Huffington Post, she collapsed at her desk. She was exhausted, sleep deprived, and pushing herself past the limit. That moment forced her to reevaluate everything. She realized that no success was worth sacrificing her well-being. From that day forward, she became an advocate for sleep, self-care, and health as non-negotiables, not luxuries. You don't need to wait for a collapse. You can make the shift now. Here's the reality. Your body is your engine. If the engine breaks down, the whole journey stops. And just like a car needs regular maintenance, so does your body. Not once in a while, every day. Your energy, focus, discipline, and creativity all flow from your physical state. You're not lazy or unmotivated. You might just be exhausted. You might be running on fumes and blaming yourself for not being able to sprint. This is why health must come first. Because when your body feels strong, your mind follows. You're more resilient, more optimistic, more focused. Suddenly that hard task doesn't feel impossible. That big goal doesn't feel so far away. You don't need to push yourself to start. You want to start. Now, you don't need a gym membership or a six-pack. You don't need to go vegan or run marathons. What you need is movement, daily movement, fuel, hydration, rest, the basics, the fundamentals, because those are the things that unlock everything else. Let's start simple. Walk 20 minutes a day. Do bodyweight exercises, push-ups, squats, planks, drink more water, cut down the junk food, get 7 to 8 hours of real quality sleep. That's it. No perfection, no extremes, just commitment to the essentials. If you're someone who works long hours or sits at a desk most of the day, this matters even more because your brain was never designed to stay sharp in a stagnant body. When you move, you stimulate your mind, you reset your nervous system, you shake off stress, you generate momentum, and it's not just physical, it's deeply mental. When you choose to take care of your body, you send yourself a powerful message. I matter. That mindset bleeds into everything. You stop tolerating low standards in other areas too. You show up better at work. You're more present in relationships. You're more courageous with your goals because a strong body builds a strong mind, and a strong mind is unstoppable. Think about it this way. Your health is an investment, not an expense. Every step you take, every stretch you do, every healthy meal you eat, it's a deposit into your future. And over time, those deposits add up. You start to feel better. You start to look better. You start to believe that maybe, just maybe, you really can do this. So what's the action step? Start with one health habit, just one. Pick a time in your day for movement. Maybe it's first thing in the morning. Maybe it's after work. Maybe it's a 10-minute break in the afternoon. Make it non-negotiable. Do it every day for 1 week. Then build from there. Add in better sleep, cleaner food, more water, stack the win. Don't wait for a crisis to take your health seriously. Don't wait until you're burned out, broken down, or fed up. Decide now that your body is worth protecting. Your energy is worth cultivating. Your future is worth showing up for. Because no matter how big your goals are, you only get one body to carry you there. Treat it like the powerhouse it is. Fuel it, strengthen it, respect it, and it will return the favor by giving you the strength to chase down every dream you've got. Take care of your health, not just for the way it makes you look, but for the way it makes you live. Number 5, track small wins to build big confidence. If there's one thing that silently shapes your self-image and long-term success, it's the way you measure progress. Most people only celebrate the big wins, getting the promotion, reaching the goal weight, launching the business. And while those moments are worth celebrating, they're not what keep you going day after day. What really fuels growth, what builds real confidence, the small wins, the ones no one sees, the ones that feel too small to matter, but matter more than you realize. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn, and you earn it by doing what you said you would do, especially when it's hard. Every time you follow through, even in a small way, you reinforce belief in yourself. You start to think, I can do this. You start trusting your own word, and that's powerful. Let's look at an example from history. Benjamin Franklin. Long before habit trackers and digital planners, Franklin created a system to track his personal growth. He identified 13 virtues he wanted to develop, including things like temperance, industry, and humility. Each day he marked whether he had upheld those virtues. He reviewed his chart weekly, reflected on his progress, and adjusted. That process, tracking and reflecting, helped him grow into one of the most respected thinkers, writers, and inventors of all time. What Franklin understood is something most people forget: what gets tracked gets improved. When you don't track your progress, you lose sight of how far you've come. You feel stuck even when you're growing. You downplay your efforts, and that drains motivation. But when you can see your wins written down, checked off, documented, you feel momentum, and momentum creates motivation. Let's get practical. How do you start tracking your small wins? It doesn't have to be complicated. Start a habit tracker. Use a notebook, an app, or a simple checklist. Each day, write down one thing you did well. Maybe you drank more water. Maybe you resisted a distraction. Maybe you pushed through a task you didn't feel like doing. That's a win. Record it. Over time, these little notes become a story. They tell you you're not the same person you were a week ago. And that story becomes your identity. You stop saying, I can't stick to anything. And you start saying, I'm someone who follows through. That shift in self-perception is life-changing. This works in any area of life. Want to save more money? Track each time you say no to an unnecessary purchase. Want to improve your fitness? Log every workout, no matter how short. Want to grow your mindset? Write down every book you read, podcast you finish, or journal entry you complete. The win doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Now, here's the magic. When you track small wins, you also build resilience. Because let's face it, there are going to be hard days. Days where motivation is low. Days when progress feels invisible. But if you've been tracking, you'll have proof that you are making progress. You'll be able to look back and say, maybe today wasn't perfect, but I've come too far to quit. Now, that's how you keep going when most people stop. There's also something deeply satisfying about closing the day with a win, even a tiny one. You go to bed knowing you didn't just let the day pass. You used it. You made it count. That's where fulfillment starts. Not in the finish line, but in the process. You don't have to wait for permission to feel proud of yourself. You don't have to achieve something massive to feel like a success. You just have to commit to showing up, doing your best, and recording the journey. Day by day, you'll become stronger, sharper, and more self-assured. Let me give you one more reason why this matters. The world won't always clap for you. You won't always get a round of applause when you wake up early, stay disciplined, or choose growth over comfort. That recognition has to come from you. And when you track your progress, you give yourself the credit you deserve. You become your own coach, your own cheerleader, your own source of drive. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, track one win a day, just one. At the end of the week, read them back. You'll be surprised by how much you've actually done. And more importantly, you'll feel the difference. That's when you know it's working. Because success isn't built in huge leaps. It's built in tiny, invisible steps. It's built in quiet victories, in small wins that nobody claps for, but that you keep showing up for anyway. Track them, honor them, build your confidence brick by brick. And soon enough, you'll look around and realize you've become someone unstoppable. So here we are. You've heard the 5 habits that changed my life in just 1 week. And if you've made it this far, there's a part of you that's ready, not just to listen, but to live differently. Maybe for the first time in a long time, you're starting to believe that transformation isn't some distant dream. It's something you can reach, and it starts with small, powerful steps. Let's recap. You start by choosing one habit that matters, not 10, not everything at once, just one. Because progress doesn't begin with overwhelming change. It begins with a clear focus and daily follow through. Then you prioritize small, consistent actions. Because life isn't changed by what you do once in a while. It's shaped by what you do daily, especially when no one's watching. Consistency turns effort into identity. Next, you cut the distractions and protect your focus. Your attention is your most valuable currency. And if you don't guard it, the world will spend it for you. You can either scroll through life or show up for it. Then you remember to take care of your health, because your body is the vehicle that carries your purpose. No energy means no progress. No vitality means no vision. A strong body creates a sharp mind, and both are essential for success. And finally, you track your small wins, because what gets measured gets improved. Confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about evidence. It's about showing yourself day by day that you are growing, you are moving, and you are becoming who you're meant to be. Now, let me ask you this. What if you actually did this? What if you took the next 7 days and applied everything you just heard? What would your life look like 1 week from today? Would you feel more confident, more focused, more in control? You already know the answer. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you feel ready. The most powerful decision you can make is to start right now, right here, exactly as you are. Because a better life isn't built in a single moment of inspiration. It's built in daily decisions, in quiet commitment, in tiny steps that no one claps for, but that change everything. Give yourself that 1 week, just one. Show up for your goals, show up for your health, show up for your future. And when the week is over, you won't just feel different, you'll be different. Remember this, the life you want is waiting on the other side of your discipline. So start with one habit, stay consistent, stay focused, take care of your body, track your wins. And when you do, you won't just change your week, you'll change your life.
Good morning. Wow, 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 wow. Wow.
Morning, morning.
I am so excited for a new day. How are you doing?
I'm tired. I struggled to wake up this morning, but here I am.
You did it. That's a small win. That's a small, small win. Oh my goodness. It's a brand new day. We are grateful for the gift of life. Yeah, man, life does tend to make us feel like we've lived this day before. We've been here before. Just because it's a Thursday, it looks like any other day you've seen, but it is a brand new day. We need the excitement of seeing a new day. The same way we get excited to see a new year. Have you seen how we really, really make it a big deal that it's a new year? We love a new year. Everybody wants to witness the first day of the new year. If we came into a new day, every new day with the same energy, we would really maximize, our time on this earth. So we are really thankful for the gift of life. We thank God for His grace today. We really thank God that we are here on the 29th of December. Of January, pardon me. Can you believe it? So we are literally closing the first month of 2026. And it's surreal. You just ask yourself, oh my goodness, where did the time go? But time is a constant. Time keeps moving. Whether we procrastinate, whether we start, whether we make excuses, time is moving. So in today's 5 a.m. session, I just want us to talk about the importance of a reset. We are closing the month and we are starting a new month. And trust me when I say how you close is very important because it creates it sets the pace for the new month. If you close well, you're able to start well again. I always just see a lot of creators on YouTube who do end of month reset, this kind of videos. And sometimes it does get overwhelming and you feel like, I don't even want to look, I just want to hope into the new month. There's this popular saying on these streets that says, February, please be good. February, please be good. But really, 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 what are you telling February to do? You can't just say, February, please be good, because February doesn't know how to be good. Of course, there's other things that are out of your control. There's other things that are out of your control that that can really affect your life. But people that believe that I have the kind of life because I am intentional, I get to choose it, I have designed it, they depend less on chance and they depend more on intentionality and just planning. So it's very important to have a plan for the new month. It's very important for you to know what you want, to know what you wanted, in your life, in your business, and that helps you to see if you are still aligned. I'll always make this example of a GPS. From time to time, when you are traveling, when you are using it, you then start to realize that it looks like I'm not en route. It looks like I'm lost. It looks like it's taking long. And what do? You reroute. You reroute. So it's very, very, very important to reroute. It's very, very important to constantly check if you are still aligned. And the reason we are doing this is because we notice that if we do it at the end of the year, there's not much that we can change. If we do it at the end of the year, there's not much we can change. We'll always have regrets. We'll always feel like, oh, I hope 2027 brings new things. There's nothing 2027 will bring if we are not ready to make the necessary changes as we go. So I think it has been a recurring theme since we started in December, the concept of atomic habits, the concept of taking small steps daily. And, I'm happy that we started that conversation in December because it removed the overwhelm. It removed the feeling of, I want to do one magical thing that is going to make 2026 my year. And it reminded us that it's the small, often insignificant things that take us to the next level in life. It's the principle of compounding. It's just starting and moving, and constantly checking and changing and re-strategizing and keeping, accountability and yeah, just pushing yourself to the next level. So we are going to be looking at that. Why is it important to have an end of month reset and planning for a new month? What things can we do as network marketing professionals, as moms building home businesses to make sure that we maximize on this year? We are already 1 month down. So how can we make sure that, we maximize the 11 months left? And this activity is not for us to judge ourselves. It's not for us to despair. It's not for us to feel like we are failures. It's for us to constantly check ourselves and to not be surprised by the results that we get at the end of the year. So, reflection is one of those habits that John Maxwell cites in his book, How Successful People Think. He says, reflection, people that are successful, they reflect. He calls it reflective thinking. So, reflective thinking is very important, and not just to end the month, as we are learning today, but just to have a good quality of life. You constantly need to pause and say, how did I do? You need to constantly pause and say, I wonder if I could do better here. So successful people, they slot it into their daily method of operation, and I know we are going to say, we are very busy, our lives are very busy. I don't think I can get 30 minutes to an hour of reflecting. Trust me, you do have that kind of time. You just spend it doing something else. But if you knew how much reflection can really catapult you to the next level in life, you would prioritize it. So before you go to bed, you want to shut down and say, how did today go? How can I make tomorrow better? How did I respond to this? Maybe I should go back to Vera and apologize because I didn't pay attention, but really I hurt her when I said this. How did I talk to my team? How did I handle things in my home? All those things are part of you preparing for the next day. And in the context of our business, you ask yourself, how many customers did I serve today? How much did I make in sales? That's an opportunity for you to go and update your sales tracker for the day. How many people did I say, I'm going to send more information? And I'm going to bed right now without sending. And this person is still waiting for more information. how many team members did I reach out to today? And how can I, show up for my team better the next day? So all those things, even things that frustrate you, even things that are preoccupying your mind, and our mind tends to protect us, so it will block certain things, things that you're trying not to think about, things that are distracting you, things that are maybe that are bothering you. Maybe you are angry, maybe you are frustrated. I was just thinking, looking at that laundry basket, and I'm like, I in 2026, I need to find a way to deal with my laundry because it's a recurring thing. It's one thing that keeps stressing me, that keeps stressing me. And you may think it's just a small thing, but what if I could just find a solution to it and it now helps me in other areas of my life? I'm ever stressed by laundry. I'm ever stressed by now the washing is done, the clothes are dry. I need time to fold the clothes and rearrange them in my wardrobe. It's always a recurring, a home chore that frustrates me. So it can be as small as that. And writing down brings it to life to say, oh, actually, this is not just something that is a thought in my head. It's something that is really, really something that I need to work on. So now, coming back to why we are reflecting as we step into a new month, reflect on what worked. Really, what worked this month. Not what you like doing, not what you wish worked, but really what worked this month. Maybe attending 5 a.m. sessions worked because it reminded you of what you need to do to improve your life. Maybe it worked. Maybe you were not very consistent, but it worked that, you would wake up every Tuesday and Thursday to come to a morning session because at the end of the session, you always left with new energy to tackle the day. So what worked? What strategies and things are you taking into the new month? Because remember, we take what works into the new month and we leave what doesn't work. We are as adaptable as they come, as we come. Because if we do not change what doesn't work and keep what works, then we are stubborn. Then we're saying we are going to do what we've always done and hope for new results. So, what worked in the new month? Maybe giving your team a sales target every week to say by Sunday, I'm going to give my team a focus product and say, this week we are going hard on the lipstick. This week, let us go in hard on the lipstick, and you give them direction and you put in an incentive for the one that sells more lipstick. Really, it really looks like a very small, tedious thing, but it has shown that, once we have a direction, which by the way is not going to be brought by your team members, it's going to be brought by you as the leader, then that really most likely contributes to team success when we are all working towards the same thing. I will just say what worked this month for me and my team. It worked that we had a calendar this month. We had a calendar for our weekend presentations. So after every presentation, we would have a poster going out and would circulate that poster. We're all, marketing that event. It worked because we had an event that was almost at full capacity, something that has never happened before. And because we started marketing it 2 weeks in advance and we're all excited towards it, we saw that it actually works. Even just working as a team, trying to generate traffic to this thing, it worked. So in February, it's a no-brainer that we need to have more of what works. So we need to have more of scheduled weekend presentations with the team because it works, right? So what didn't work? Yes, even the things that you wish worked, but they didn't, that's when you go back to the drawing board to say, what didn't work and why didn't it work? What didn't work? Maybe I struggled to have in-person meetings this month, you know. Maybe it's because it's January, people are settling into the new year, they're going back to work, you know. So I struggled to even get one coffee date, right? So if I struggle to get a coffee date, that informs my February, but it also informs my January 2027 because I can then start to plan towards my January to say, how can I make my January 2027, worth it just by looking at the trends. So, and you release guilt, pressure, and disappointment for the things that didn't work, for the things that you wish worked, you know, you stop beating yourself up to say, if I did this, this could have happened. No, this is just you collecting data. This is just you collecting data and looking at the facts. You are not guilt tripping yourself. You are not judging yourself. You are just, looking at the reality because that informs the future decisions that you're going to make. And then this is also a time for you to celebrate. Celebrate the effort. Celebrate what you did. I would rather you celebrate the effort because if we only celebrate the results, then we end up feeling like there's nothing to celebrate. So celebrate the effort, celebrate the showing up, celebrate the times when you didn't feel like waking up and you woke up. Celebrate the times where you reached out to, that customer that you were scared of and it turned out, so even if it didn't really turn out to be a positive or a win, but the fact that you gathered the courage to do. Celebrate you showing up on social media daily, even though you didn't feel like you look good to even be on social media. Celebrate the small wins and celebrate the effort more than just the results. All right. So then you also want to look at things that drain your energy so that you are able to eliminate them this month or just find a way to work around them in a better way. So what drained your energy in January? What drained your energy in January? What kicked you off in January? Maybe you got a tire burst and it literally just toppled your finances, toppled your mental health over. Maybe that is something that we can start to prioritize in February to say, I'm not happy. I'm not happy that when emergencies come, they always find me unready. So how can we work on that emergency fund so that it removes your eases off the pressure, So what drained you? Maybe you were consuming too much and consuming things that are not even good for you and ended up draining your energy. Maybe you were consuming things that are good for you. Sometimes we have personal development overload where we are just ever consuming, and we end up just being, feeling like we are, fatigued. Our brains are fatigued. Maybe you need to just limit it to one video a day. And instead of listening to more videos, you challenge yourself to go and implement that which you listen to in that one video. So that helps you to really design your new month instead of just stumbling into a new month. And it's very common in our kind of business based on the fact that we work on our businesses till 12 midnight on the last day of the month. So it's very common for us to bring old energy into a new month, to come into a new month without clarity and structure because we have been closing targets till the last minute of the day. And trust me, that is not even fair to ourselves because we always bring fatigue, overwhelm into a new month. Nobody said we should do it like that. We just choose to do it like that because the company has given us the whole month to close our targets. They didn't give us the last day of the month to do it. What am I going to do to move closer to my goals in the new month? Those are just some of the things. What did I do to move closer to my goals in January? It's going to also help you. Remember, we're not trying to create an overnight success story. So I'm going to give you an example. One of my priority areas in 2026 is my finances. One of the things that I need to do more is to save more, is to track my spending, is to make more money, and is to structure my investments, you know. And one of the things that I have been doing in the old month that I plan to continue to do in the new month is to just educate myself more about finances, you know, and curate my social media consumptions to suit that goal. So I need to follow people that are talking about money. I need to read books about money. I need to watch YouTube videos about money. I need to create more accountability in the area of saving, investing, being debt free, all those things. So I need to deliberately look for opportunities to learn, to apply what I've learned, and just, to have people where the subject of money is not taboo, where saving and delaying gratification is not taboo. It's not a thing that I feel ashamed to talk about, because the people that are around me are also looking for the same thing. They are also starving themselves, being frugal, going for cheaper options because they are prioritizing the future. So that's just an example to say, I cannot say I want to do more financially and that just have that as part of my New Year's resolutions without, really, really being honest with what I'm willing to do. So now, as part of my end of month reset, I'm going to go to those facts to say, did I really consume, content that helps me improve my finances? Did I really stick to a budget? Did I really track my finances? What was my emotional state as I was spending? Because when it comes to money, it's not when we sit down with spreadsheets, it's also the decisions we just make, the emotions. Or I was depressed most of the time, and I always rewarded myself with a nice restaurant meal that costed 500 plus without even noticing. And I would come back and be afraid to look at the numbers because I spent out of emotion, or I spent to impress, I spent to show off, I spent to validate myself, I spent to fit in. Those are just some of the things. I was scared to say I can't afford it. I would make decisions based on what someone else is suggesting. Or I talk to someone, a sales person or something, and they would always give me the most expensive option, and I would go for it because I'm scared to say, hey, not at the moment. My priorities, I don't have that kind of money right now. Do you understand? So those are the things that we do as we do our end of month reset. Did I procrastinate or play small in the month of January? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. What opportunities didn't you take because of procrastination, because of limiting beliefs, feeling like an imposter, feeling like you're not qualified? Those are the things that are going to make the second month of the year worth it. Did I have systems, or I just woke up and did what I had to do? You need systems in your home, systems for managing your groceries, systems for managing, time, systems for showing up as a mom, doing school runs, whatever, you know, systems for your business, systems for your team. Me and my team do weekly presentations. That's a system. Me and my team, we wake up and we give each other, things that we're going to do today. And we come back and we share what we've sold today. That's a system. Did I put those systems in place? James Clear has been saying this over and over again since we started in December, that systems are more important than goals. So what systems did I have in January? And systems are not this big giant thing that happens in a boardroom. No. I just wake up and drink my water. And a system that I have is a glass of water next to my bed or on my office desk. And I get my water, whether I buy my water or I just fetch my water from the tap. So when I wake up and I see the glass and I see my bottle of water there, I'm reminded to drink water. So now drinking water is no longer a goal. It's part of my system because when I'm here, I drink my water. When I see my class, I drink my water. So what systems have you put in place to make sure that you're set up for success? Right. So when it comes to a new month, we need clear goals. We need to focus more on our income generating activities. We need more rest and prioritizing our health. That's what Jim Rohn was saying this morning. Our health should be part of what we prioritize, and we also need a lot of time management. So it is not just about starting a new month. It is not just about let us see what February has for us. We need structure, we need clarity, we need direction, and we need systems that are going to help us, get the most of the new month. And when we see each day as a building block towards the month, as we see each month as a building block towards a new year, and as we see each year as a building block towards the kind of life that we want to live, we do not take for granted the time that we have. We appreciate the time that we have, we show up, and we make each moment count. So that's it. I just wanted my talk to end at exactly 6 a.m. I don't know if there's any contribution from your end, Vera, and we are going to close the session.
Morning, morning. Sorry, my sun's a bit bright.
Because the light is behind you. You are supposed to have the light coming on your face.
I know.
Yes.
But that's how I don't know. Every time I attend these sessions, I just feel convicted, We know all this stuff. It's just to start actually doing them. And I have said to you before that, I'm such a lazy thinker. I really am. I don't really have systems, and that's one thing that I need to work on this year. I really need to get some systems in place. I love the idea of a tracker. Simple things like I've really, really been trying to not drink Coke in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I've tried to stop drinking Coke in the night when I wake up. So I have been putting a bottle of water next to my bed. And I say, after my last Coke in the evening, I drink water when I wake up in the night. And in the morning, I resist and I get up and I drink a glass of water and I drink my hibiscus tea and stuff as opposed to Coke. So it's been going quite well. We really need to be intentional. We really need, and just the small things like sleep, like just looking after our bodies. I think we associate sleep with laziness. Sometimes we talk about sleeping, but it's actually a necessity, obviously in proportion, because when your body is not rested and taken care of, you need. The guy says, if I gave you 6 hours to cut down this big, big, big tree, what would you do? And he says, I take the first 4 hours sharpening my axe. And that's what we need to do. We need to take care of our bodies in order to be productive. If you're a blunt axe, you're going to take more energy, more time, more effort, more everything to cut down the tree.
Getting it done. Yeah.
Yes. So systems and habits and all of these things are a way of sharpening our axe. So we do need to be diligent. I love these sessions because it keeps me on track. I do go off track every second day when we're not on the sessions. Just joking. But yeah, they really do. They bring you back. They bring you back before you go too far off track, I would love for us to have a month-end session. You know what happens? Like when Jim Rohn is talking, when you're talking, you're trying to think about this question and we've moved on to the next question and the next question. And then we finish the meeting and we get on a school run with deliveries with the day and making time to actually do the activity that needs, my weakness is admin and that kind of stuff. I can do, but it's the reflection, the record keeping, that I just need to perfect. So if you could please send us the list of those questions I would like to actually go through them properly and do that. And then maybe let's consider end of the month getting time and one of the Zoom calls to actually do the process with each other for accountability. You know, do the question, give 5 minutes, whatever, for it to be answered, move on to the next question and stuff. So yeah, thank you for the sessions. They're always very, very helpful.
Okay, thank you so much. I've been noting this. And your nails are nice, by the way. You have pretty nails today. I think you're mute.
Sorry, I was muted. I only used to do my nails every 3 months for the SQ meetings. And then I decided, you know, when you're doing business, you on the meetings, you're showing people the catalog, you're showing people products, and then there's certain little things, you know. So like you were saying about not waiting to go to the barber only when you have an event and stuff. So my nails, I think it's the last 6 months, I've been deliberate about making sure every 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, my nails are actually done. So thank you for noticing. It works.
Yeah, and it's a very, very nice color on your skin tone. Yeah, I definitely will
It's got
send
glitter.
yeah, send the questions, month-end research questions. I think I might have a DMO tracker for my team as well. That also has a daily research to say, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? You know, so it's one thing that I've always just taught my team, even weekly research. I would, just check in on Fridays and stuff. But sometimes we walking it through together is different from saying this is what you need to sit and do. But again, we still need to train ourselves to be independent, like train ourselves to have those conversations seated with ourselves because, trust me, I've told the story of this book. I bought this book, I think, end of 2023. Ooh, I was so excited to step into 2024. You have no idea. Was it end of 2023 or end of 2024? But that year when I did a proper reset for the year end and I bought flowers and I bought new books, you remember? I printed my vision board, I did thorough cleaning in my home. I was just literally, ready for the new year. So that's when I bought this book. And I don't, one of the pandemics that I have is, having a notebook and then ending up using it for everything. Now you're writing your shopping, your verses, your whatnot, but it's one of those sacred books that has never really gotten that, I look at it and I know that it's strictly for goal setting and researching and things like that. But my biggest mistake, I used it. I noticed that I use it in December only. Like I use it in December and then I look at it in another December. And I've seen when I open it that shucks, this is what I wanted to do in the year that I never got to do because I opened it once, like in December. So now the difference is that it now stays on my desk. And as I do my daily things, small things, I don't even wait to sit down and do a major research, like today I got an email that my company has been registered. And you know what that where that goes? It goes into my notebook to say it's one of those things that has been pending, now it's done. And it takes us closer now to the next goal. So even whatever area of your life that you're trying to improve on, you said, but I bet it's not written anyway. I get to drink water daily now and tea and replace my Coke. It goes into your goal setting book because then there comes a time when you now sit and say, how did January go? And it feels so overwhelming to remember what happened on the 1st, on the 15th, on the 18th, on the 25th. Yet, if you were doing the daily reflections, even if it's not a daily systemic reflection, just that one win that you're jotting down every day, it gives you that direction so that it feels less of a task and more of you are incorporating it into your everyday life. So yeah, I don't want to lie to you. There's so many things that I'm even reading here, and I'm just like, wow, wow, wow. Just by making it my friend and writing it as I go, So we need to get into the habit of sitting with our businesses, sitting with our lives. And actually, the biggest business you'll ever have is your life, Vera. It's not your business, it's not your children, it's not your job. It will always be your life. So if you don't treat your life like a business with departments, I have a health department, I have a financial department, I have a mental health department, I have a social life department. How did I do here? How you literally have these AGMs with yourself, these annual general meetings, and say, I need myself in the boardroom often. Trust me, because that's the difference between the people that achieve results and the rest. So the listening of the motivational videos, the loving the personal development, the loving the inspiration and all those things, they are good for a start to start you on the journey of self-improvement. The actual work is when we sit and we do the actual questioning and we say, Vele, Vele, where am I? You know, even in terms of the business itself, I'm sure you've heard it, that it's not the loudest on social media that gets the results. You would think the one who's always posting and posting and always talking about working, working, working will be the top earner in the company. Top earners that are not loud. Top earners that are not loud. And what is the difference? They do more of what we're saying, do. They reflect often. They do the behind the scenes often. They message their prospects often. They, touch base with their team often. And then you get the loudest. At 7 a.m., they're already out on the streets selling and they're posting it. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it creates momentum and it inspires our teams. But we also need to teach our teams that we need to sit. I have team members that don't know the value of sitting with yourself and your numbers and looking at the reality. You find them running around, they don't even know that there's a CMO, and they don't even know what time of the month it is. It's the end of the month. It's not time for you to go out and look for customers. It's time for you to look at the numbers and look at, how can I support my team? This one is so close to hitting the next rank. Let me talk to them. It's as important as the other things, but maybe even more important you know. But a lot of people don't like doing that. This morning, I got my bank statement onto my email and I said, I'm so happy. Think about it. Why do you think the bank is sending you your bank statement today? It's because it knows that you need it for your review But I used to be the kind of person who would avoid my bank statement, who would avoid my in contact messages. I would just swipe, swipe, swipe and delete that message because I know that it's going to judge me and convict me. So all these things are important. Even your Facebook is going to give you a Facebook recap for the month of January. Did you notice? It will give you your Facebook recap to say, this is how much you posted, these are the pages you engaged with. So there's insights for everything. If we avoid looking at the numbers, if we avoid being honest, then we lack motivation. Then we enjoy being motivated. We don't really want to do the work. And I don't know if you've noticed this. Sometimes you'll say things like, my sales are not going well, my business is not going well, until you sit down and look at the kind of income that you got from your sales, the number of people that inquired about the product. And if you follow that sales conversation, the reason you didn't deliver that product is you. You didn't have that product, and this person, you never followed through and stuff. If you would go back to all those conversations, you'd make the kind of money that you want to make. So then you talk to someone and they say, yeah, my business is not performing. Tell me how it's not performing. I want to know that. I hear that you're saying it's not doing well. Show me which areas of your business are you worried about that we can improve on? Then now we stop being emotional, because most of the time we're emotional. Most of the time we're emotional and say, my team is not working. Okay, how many of your team members are not working, and what should they be doing? Are you working with them? Do they know what they should be doing? We like making blanket statements because they make us feel good. My husband doesn't care which area of the marriage should he be prioritizing, My children don't care about me. What should they be doing? So when we really, really remove the generalization that we make and we come into the actual how, then we see that half of the things that frustrate us are not even real. They're not even real. It's not true that you don't have customers. It's not true that people don't want the products. Maybe a few people somewhere have voiced out that the products are expensive or things like that, but you still get inquiries, you still get sales, you still get, which means the products are on demand, which means people want the products, which means your business is open. You just don't have systems and structure to keep it running. And more than anything, the mindset. Your mindset is not in the right place. So you think it's not moving, you know. So yeah, without starting another session, let us close so that I can get ready for school runs. And I just want to say kudos to you, my friend, for showing up. It's easy for us, especially now. We started these sessions in December. I think the schools were closed. So we could have easily said, it's not going to happen because now we are doing school runs and but we also understand that this is how we fill our cups as moms, for us to show up better as we drive our kids to schools, as we prepare those lunch boxes and so on. Right now, my son is going to experience the best version of me because I'm coming from a 5 a.m. meeting. Versus when I wake up and I try to wake him up and we're all angry and I'm carrying the weight of the previous day. So just us saying we're not going to stop the sessions, even though we are back, doing our mommy errands and all those things. But this is also part of us being effective moms and being effective in our homes. I really applaud you for that. Thank you so much, and do have a great
Thank
day.
you. You too.
Thank you. Bye.